As far back as I can remember, I can't sleep at night. Don't get me wrong, I can sleep. I'm not an insomniac. I just can't sleep at night. My body wants to be up while the moon's out. The way other people feel at 2 in the afternoon is how I feel at 2 in the morning. But since I've learned to work around it now, it doesn't mean that when I was a child, I wasn't just the bad little boy who wouldn't go to bed like he was supposed to. So I learned from a young age, just wait for everybody else to go to bed, tiptoe to wherever the farthest TV away from sleeping people are, turn the volume on low, and hopefully I'll fall asleep. But it usually just resulted in me watching Planet of the Apes Week, or Universal Monsters Week, or Godzilla Week, or that movie where William Shatner fights a town full of spiders, or that movie where a guy gets turned into a snake. Because that was the beauty of rabbit ears television in the late 70s. Whatever was on is what you got, and the stuff late at night was geared towards children and stoners, so it was all awesome. But then by the 1980s, 2 wonderful things happened for a person who loves movies and can't sleep at night. First, the VHS. The VCR, video stores, all of it. Old school ma and pa video stores were my churches. I used to walk up and down the aisles, looking into the little windows, seeing all the adventures going on in different places, full of monsters and ninjas and beautiful women and crazy cars and explosions. For the next 20 years of my life, there was always 3 or 4 rental boxes sitting on top of whatever the current media player of the day was and whatever the biggest TV in the house was. Also around this time was the proliferation of cable television. Suddenly I went from 4 channels to 28 channels, and 2 of them were movie channels. But not only did it provide that, I was introduced to late-night movie hosts to keep me company while I was up. Sven Gulli, Joe Bob Briggs, Rhonda Shear, Grandpa Munster, and even the fellows and robots at Mystery Science Theater 3000. All there to be friends and teach me about movies and keep me company while the rest of the world slept. If I didn't have help from people like them, I'd never know about Terror Comes to Tiny Town or Hell Comes to Frog Town or all the different things that come to towns. But then the next big thing to come to town was the DVD player. Not only could I now go back and rewatch all the movies I love just to see them in their proper widescreen presentation, but more importantly, special features. Long before podcasts, there was the director's commentary. So why would you pay thousands of dollars to go to some film school to hopefully get a lecture by John Carpenter when he can just come to your house and talk to you while the both of you watch In the Mouth of Madness together? And all those directorial inspirations and influences came about around the same time as much cheaper digital filmmaking equipment became available. For the first time in my life, I could start making movies because it was affordable. It wasn't hidden behind a thousands and thousands of dollar paywall. So I started immediately making bad movies with my friends, turning in short films instead of papers in my college classes, getting involved in any little small project I can, shooting people's weddings, going to people's birthday parties, just playing with the camera, learning about movies, learning about cinema. And when you embark on that journey, one of the first things you realize is how much you don't know and how bad you suck at it. And eventually I kind of wanted to learn all of it, so I started learning about screenwriting, and I read all of these books. And then I wanted to sell the screenplay, so I read all these books. And the surprise ending of all those books is you can't sell a screenplay without an agent. You can't get an agent without selling a screenplay. I'll let you go ahead and work that out at home. Amidst my frustration, I realized the only answer was learn how to do it myself. So once again, it was back to 24-hour film festivals and shooting people's weddings and doing any videography work I could. But regardless of that, at the end of the day, I'd find myself on the couch watching a movie. My mind always thinks of myself as that small child with bags under his eyes reading Fangoria or Famous Monsters of Filmland. But then, after attending a few film fan conventions, I realized I had found there were other people in the world like me. It was wonderful. Not only the folks who were up all night, but the folks who were into all the weird and cool stuff that I am. Just wild, crazy cameos by some of the famous faces you grew up with, and other folks you know who love them just as much as you do, and also love all the toys and the physical media and the posters and the artwork and the cosplay, the weirdness of all of it. So when my love of making video and film led me here to YouTube, I decided that's what I wanted to create, a place for people who were like me. Night Owl Movie Talk, a channel for people who love movies.